Prices went up, way up in 2022, but our budget barely budged. We'll tell you how.
Hi, I'm Larry.
And I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where every week we bring you videos on practical frugality.
Rising prices may be leaving your budget feeling more than a little squeezed, but there are some quick, effective strategies that can help you not only deal with inflation, but also continue to live within your budget and, yes, save money.
The first thing that you want to do is seek the minimum.
I have to tell you that I co-opted this phrase from my friend Julie, who says it all the time. And she has saved literally thousands of dollars every year by seeking the minimum in every area of her budget. So what does this seeking the minimum strategy actually look like?
Let's look at our utilities. You can always go down 1 degree at a time during the winter time to get the minimum amount of temperature that you can tolerate in your home. This way, you'll save money on your utility bill.
The minimum as far as your grocery budget is concerned. There are a lot of minimums you can look for in your grocery budget. Spending the minimum, spending money only on items which are on sale, making sure that you menu plan so you don't wind up throwing food away in the garbage can because it's rotted.
Seeking the minimum on your gas expenses. Use an online website like Gas Buddy that will show you what the least expensive gas is in your area to put in your car. And you might also look at how you can reroute your trip so that you're going the most efficient way to do all of your errands.
While you are seeking the minimum in each area of your budget, you might wind up stumbling across the next strategy, and that is to look for new, less expensive places to get what it is that you want to buy.
For instance, Hope found an ethnic food store in our area that she actually got to know the manager on a personal level. When he would see her coming into the store, he would find boxes of bulk food that he could offer her at much reduced prices compared to what was out on the shelf.
And speaking of bulk food, one of our other areas that we've found places to seek the minimum in our grocery bill and to save money is also our local Amish community. We can buy 25 and 50-pound bags of shelf-stable items at a far reduced price.
A natural foods co-op can also help you save money on shipping when you go in with, say, 5 or 6 other people to buy something that will be shipped to a home address. We used to belong to one of these, and we did save quite a bit on buying bulk food.
Now, let's just say that you are actually seeking the minimum and looking for an alternative for your high cell phone bill. This was us just a few months ago, and we switched to Mint Mobile. For years, I had been paying $45 a month for my cell phone bill. Mint Mobile, my monthly bill is $15 a month. Mint Mobile is our partner for this video. Not surprisingly, everybody else in the family also switched to Mint Mobile. We manage all of our accounts with Mint's modern family plan. How long did it take us to switch from our cell phone service to Mint Mobile? 15 minutes. That's it. Larry and I used an eSIM card. Our son ordered a physical free SIM card and Mint sent it to him, and it also took him just about 15 minutes to make the switch. 2 of our sons have Mint Mobile, and what they really like is Mint has a very cool app that they can look at throughout the month and kind of monitor their usage and see how they're doing on their usage. The nice thing about Mint too, though, is it really honestly doesn't matter which one of the plans that you pick. You're always going to get unlimited talk and text. You'll get the largest 5G network in the nation, and you'll also get mobile hotspot. Now, if you're looking to find out more about Mint and what they offer, there's a special link right down there. You're going to want to go to that link. It's mintmobile.com/under the median. That link is also going to be all the way at the top of the description for this video. Thanks, Mint Mobile, for partnering with us.
Now that you've looked to buy less expensive things, you might just think about buying less. Buy less of the items that you used to purchase. That way you can save money on what you're doing.
Here's an example of how we've sort of co-opted this whole idea of buying less into our weekly budget. Every Friday night, it's been a tradition for years. We sort of treat ourselves to something that is a semi-pre-made meal, if you will, because we really don't go out to eat. Instead, we buy maybe some prepackaged salad mixes. In fact, we just did this. We went to Aldi with $15 and we walked out with like a full meal deal for all 4 of us. That's an example of a way that you can still sort of feel like, you know, that eating out experience, but you're spending far less to do it in that way. You come home and take your What's it take you to put a pizza in the oven? 20 minutes for the pizza to cook. You would wait that long in the restaurant anyway. So you can do it actually much less expensively by adopting this idea of shopping for your eating out stuff at the grocery store.
You can always buy items at the grocery store that haven't increased in prices as much as some others. For instance, we know that meat and eggs have gone through the roof, but other items such as fruits and vegetables are still being held down to a pretty low price. It's okay to do a little switching around in your diet in order to adjust your pocketbook.
One of the things that we've also noticed, just sort of in regards to this whole saving at the grocery store thing, we have started really, and tell us in the comment section if you agree with us, we've started paying far more attention than we used to as to how many servings we can actually get out of the items that we're buying. Make sure you always look on the back of the package. Some of those servings, I'm telling you, like a 3-year-old toddler, yeah, they might eat that much of that product, but my teenage sons, they're going to eat a whole lot more of that product. You have to look at it and say, realistically, how long am I going to be able to stretch this item to feed our family? And when you focus on purchasing items that go a long way, then your grocery bills are automatically going to drop.
Okay, walking away from the grocery items, you might think about buying used. It's amazing what good quality items you can get on the used market. Take a look at what you're needing and consider, if I buy it used, how much can I save and will it meet my needs? Chances are it will.
The other thing I think is important when you're thinking about that is to think in terms of a timeline. A lot of times I think we look and think, well, I really need this thing right now. Yet when we take a step back and really take time to think about it, we might realize that, all right, we might really need that thing, let's say in the next 3 months. Well, if that's the case, it means there's a timeline there that you can work with, which gives you even more time to do your research, to watch, to look around on the used market, to know what the regular price really is of that item so you can find it at a reduced price. And then when you do, you've done your research and you know that it's a really good deal and you can go ahead and grab that bargain.
I want to give you a tool for deciding if an item is priced reasonably on the used market. You can go into eBay and on the search functions, if you hit advanced, you can click a box that says sold for. And this tells you what the item is actually selling for on eBay. Now, eBay is probably going to be a little bit more expensive than, let's say, Marketplace. It's usually about 20% more if you buy it off of eBay because you got a larger audience, you got a larger pool of customers on eBay than you would at your local marketplace. That's a good indicator, though, on what your item is worth on the used market.
We recognize that this whole idea of like reducing your expenses is not the easiest thing in the world to sort of wrap your head around sometimes. And that's why we put all of our 10 best ways to radically reduce your expenses into a free ebook. We walk you step by step through each of the different ways that you can reduce your expenses and provide checklists for every single one of those items so you can go through and say, yep, done that, done that, done that, check it off. If you would like a copy of that ebook, as I mentioned, it's free and there'll be a link to it in the description of the video.
Hey, if you're enjoying this video, be sure to give it a like. And if you're not subscribed and you like what you're seeing, subscribe. That way, every week, you can enjoy these videos that Hope and I produce.
This next one also not always the easiest thing to do, and that is don't be brand loyal.
You know, it used to be in the days of the 60s and 70s, if you liked a brand, let's say RCA, you were really buying an RCA item or a Panasonic or a Sony. But now everything is so generic. There's only a few makers that are making a lot of the, let's say, electronic items. You don't have to be brand loyal anymore. I would just look at what the ratings are on the item that you're looking at, or get some opinions from people you know that have the generic item to see if it's as good as the high cost brand or named brand item is. That is a really good way to save money. You don't have to be brand loyal.
As we continue through our trek to help a wrecking ball not swing its way at your budget because of the increasing prices, we have to mention that you really need to consider taking a closer look at your own spending habits. This is a tough one to do because we often have blind spots when it comes to the way that we're actually spending money. But if you'll take a step back and always think, Is this a want or is this a need? Is this something I need now or can it wait until later? Is this a really good price or is this not a good price? Can I find it on sale? Is it available on the used market? If you work your way down sort of that hierarchy of thinking, it does tend to be able to bring clarity, and all of us have blind spots, and it helps us to be able to bring into clear focus what it is that we are personally doing that is sort of adding to the burdensome feeling of the rising prices and inflation.
Now that you've looked carefully at what you're spending and in terms of your spending habits, look really long and hard at cutting your expenses. Now, Hope has talked quite a bit about the 10% challenge. We've mentioned this on many videos. And the way that works is you just take 20 minutes out with your partner and you discuss different ways that you can cut areas back in your budget by 10%. And there's always something that can be cut. This will help you save that amount of money each time.
The ninth strategy that you can use in order to make sure that inflation is not wrecking your budget is to be choosy. Make sure that you are not just habitually hitting that big red buy now button. Make sure that you're not buying on impulse. Make sure that you're thinking long and hard about each and every purchase that you are making.
You don't want to buy items without carefully researching them. That'll help you narrow it all the way down. And don't replace items unless you really need to.
When it comes to not buying things that you don't need, you have two super powerful tools at hand. The first tool is the no thank you as you turn and walk away. It is incredibly effective to be used on those who are trying to sell you something that you truly don't need.
The second thing is to say to yourself, is this a need or a want? Now, I'm not saying it's never good to buy a want. We do spend some things that we like to have. But as you ask yourself that question each time, that can keep you from buying something that you really don't need.
When it comes to rising prices, I do think that the first and foremost thing that occurs to everybody are the grocery budgets, because that honestly was the area where we saw that impact most in 2022. We just did a video a few weeks ago where we talked about over 30 different habits that you might actually be using while you're in the grocery store shopping that could be actually costing you more money than you might imagine. You want to take a little look at those tips and those habits that you might be using in the grocery store. They're right over there.
We're on to the next page, right? Yeah.
Here's some. Whoa!
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
I didn't mean to do
Just
that.
get it.
I didn't have much in there.